Are we spread out okay for you? Oh, yeah. I would rather be in the back when the chair was here and this was here, so I thought. You can sit wherever you want. You can move her. Wait, just switch. Put her in the front. Oh, no, here, just a bit. Just move her. Person presenting. Okay. And then you can just move back. Easier to see that way. Okay. Yeah. I can zoom in.
No.
Hi, Bob.
Hi there, how are you?
I am good. How are you?
I am deep in thought.
Oh, okay. I'll let you do that.
No. I'm grasping, and I don't mean to downplay you a bit.
That's okay.
I have an iPad here, and that's what we're looking at each other from.
Right.
But the audio is not loud enough for me to be comfortable, and it's up to the max.
Oh,
So,
dear.
now, what I've been doing before, and they say it's cheating, but I don't care. I cheat if I have to. I've been getting Zoom off my regular computer, but I don't have a Snipes camera. So
Oh,
consequently, I actually am receiving it off the iPad and off my computer at the same time. But I'll be darned if I can get my computer to kick in.
oh.
I don't know. I'm on Zoom. I'm on a shortcut, but it won't. Oh, talk too quick. Something's gonna happen here.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll get back to you when you want me. I'm gonna play until then. Force me.
The pledge, what do we? Should I go grab the?
Just have them take it off. Just say remove that from it. I accidentally did that last time too.
Oh, for some also, right?
Bob?
Yes.
Do you have more than one microphone going?
Now you'll have to go slow because I can't hear very well. Go, try me again.
Oh, never mind. It was Isetta. We'll blame her.
All right.
Hi, Doug. Hi, Doug.
Oh, sorry.
Say hi.
Okay, now. Come on, Doug. Wherever Doug is. Hi, Doug.
I'm here. This is Eric. I'm here now.
Hello, Eric.
Hi.
So we're waiting on Forrest. He has successfully joined before, so I can get him here. That's why I need your Lily to come by. Lily. She.
Oh.
Yeah, I need to get a motion better. So people just not sitting. That was funny. I think 6 minutes, I'm not even late. Oh, yeah. Okay, so we can't start until. Oh, what was that? Where's the stand? Oh. I can't go in the box. No, I didn't. I left it on the hopper. Oh, geez. Because Zeta came by and I got all like, hey, Zeta.
Can I have a word? Is there
Yes,
any
we're
way,
not officially on.
is there any way I can get this audio off my cell phone?
Yes.
So you can call in.
You can call in, but you're gonna have to make sure you mute yourself or you're gonna have horrible feedback.
What was that?
So you can call in on the number, but you will have to mute your phone. Because if you have two devices going, we'll have really bad feedback. So do
Oh,
you?
well, I'm getting a little feedback now. I'll struggle away at this.
I'm multitasking. Who else is here?
Oh. Peter. Peter? Something's wrong. I think that Google is somehow fighting with different things. I've had a couple different issues, but right now it won't let me sign into the city. It's trying to. The city rep, it says unable to access YouTube Live. Try signing into Google again. Should be, I don't understand.
First.
Hello there.
There he is. Hi.
Yeah, and I just did a 2-hour Zoom meeting with the city council.
Historic landmark meeting at 4.
Yes, yes, I think I'm talking to Tim.
Yes, Tim here.
You want the meeting number?
Yes.
Okay, here we go.
Yes, I am right now. I'm saying welcome city manager info, but it's not letting me.
Tell me when you're ready.
I'm ready.
952 7806 4835.
Okay, but if I do that,
Password. The meeting password is a number.
Yes. 6
I'll just take it back.
3 7
It says choose an account.
9 5.
Choose an account. Leave it out.
All right, thank you, Bob.
Unable to access YouTube Live.
You're welcome.
If I go to, yes, I can get to you, live stream with you. So what do we do? If we can't run a meeting, not a public meeting if nobody can get to it. Well, and it does a recording, but
We're just having a little technical difficulty, still kind of new.
so I'm in it. It says welcome City of the Dalles. So now if I go to YouTube, no, see now it's not working. It says it's taking me to YouTube or the City of the Dalles, but it isn't. It's, well, kind of is. This Nope, something's just really wrong.
I don't know, they're having trouble, so they're trying to figure out Bob's apparently.
But then, how am I gonna do that?
Doug?
I'm opening Firefox, but
Hello,
it
Doug.
says import bookmarks and other data.
No.
Hello, Doug,
Doug's
this is
trying to
Doug.
get in.
Don't import anything.
Do you have
Pardon
Doug
me?
anywhere?
Doug is here.
Yes, I'm here.
No. I don't know, Paula. had
Okay,
you.
so
You're leaving. Sorry.
sign in. Okay, so I'm in
Where-
Firefox. Now what do I do?
We have to connect to YouTube for it to be a public meeting, and we're having trouble with that.
Oh, shit.
Sorry.
Here's Carolyn Wood.
Hi, Bob.
I don't know how they bring up whose picture is showing. but
YouTube.com, sign in.
Carolyn was there a second
Don't
ago.
have a Gmail account.
There.
To
Yeah,
me, the
Dawn.
dolls.
No,
It's
it-
connected to my email and to my Excel endorsement.
The meeting, Karen, what?
Because we're not supposed to have.
I'm gonna have a hard time understanding. This is a little bit scratchy.
I have two.
Well, I can get to Creator Studio, is that what I need? Well, I just don't think how to.
Take my hearing out.
I don't know how I'm gonna. No, it's not connected.
Is that volume?
Well, no, it's just sitting there. You know what we're gonna do, is we're going to,
No. I can't. Well, they're not saying anything right now, I don't think.
like I'm supposed to be.
They're trying to connect to YouTube.
So it's not happening.
No, Carolyn was talking. Couldn't-
Hang on.
Good afternoon, Donna.
So I'm in.
It was Lawrence's wife, I think.
Remarks.
She's a,
Yeah, it says it's
No, she's not on
upcoming,
the
so
group.
that's there. Use an account. It's not letting me go live. It won't. Okay, let's refresh this. It's acting like I'm not signed into Google, but I am. This. I'm signed in, it's letting me get into everything. No. But when I do that, it brings up the same thing. Oh wow, now it's trying to do it to me. Deny.
We need some theme music, like Jeopardy. I would comment, but you would all hate me.
I wouldn't hate you.
I can't carry a tune in a bucket.
Maybe if I click use another account and try to
probably a
sign in.
little louder than it needs to be, but
Can you hear it?
Huh?
You can hear it, okay.
yeah, I can hear it, but the enunciation is going to be kind of weird.
All right, we're 10 minutes late, so I'm just gonna hang up and figure something out. Bye. Okay, it's not gonna stream live. So, gosh almighty.
The pressure, like I said.
And I'm trying to figure out what to do because
Izetta, Tim here. Izetta,
yes,
you can save it to your hard drive and then upload it.
yeah,
to
it
Google.
automatically does that in Zoom. But
Yeah.
what I'm trying to do is live stream it so
Yeah, I
that
know.
the public can see this meeting.
Yep.
And that's not gonna happen. So go ahead and just call the meeting to order and we'll figure out how I can post Zoom to our website later.
I know how to do that. I can call me.
Are you having a public hearing?
Yes.
Oh, no, then we can't have this meeting. We can't have this meeting. I can't, if you have a public hearing, you have to the public has to have access and they don't. Well,
If you don't vote,
Well, no, that's not important. The thing is they have to be able to log in, and they can log into the Zoom meeting. It's just not live streaming.
That is correct.
So we're okay. Because that was published, the links and everything was on the agenda. Everything was published. So yeah, they have access. They can log into the Zoom meeting. It's just that it's not recording. Are you texting Diana?
I'm actually texting Todd Carpenter to see if he was going to come today because he's the applicant.
Oh, so we kind of have to have that.
No, we don't have to have it.
Okay.
It'd be nice to have him.
It's his choice.
Yes, okay, let's wait just a second and I'll be right back. I'm so sorry.
Mhm.
Let's see, Eric.
Are we going to continue doing these things? Only have it on my calendar, and I can paste like Dale, is that right? I did it wrong. Oh, I can send it to you. Yeah, this would be awesome. Is it not going now? All the other stuff except for this one didn't know. Because it's in the packet and it won't. Oh, I see. So I have to put it on email and packet. Because I'm not going to cut and paste it. So Tom's going to join us.
Tim, are you there?
I am here.
Donna Lawrence here. So how do aren't we supposed to mute ourselves if we're not going to talk?
Generally, yes, that's true.
How do I do that?
Upper right-hand corner, there's a button, says mute. You have to pull it down from the menu.
Am I on the screen with all the people on it, or?
Yes, you are. I can see
Okay.
you.
No, I know that, but I mean, is the mute thing on that screen?
Well, for me, the mute button is in the bottom left.
Okay, we're good.
Okay.
We provided a form. It was in the notice. It's on
Oh,
the
I see it.
packet
Thank you.
for logging in, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's all there. So yep, we're fine. So just go ahead and we're good.
Okay, Eric, so I think we're ready. If you want to go ahead and open the meeting up, we'll get going.
Okay, that sounds great. I guess we'll call the meeting to order and we'll start with the roll call. Or I guess Paula can do that.
Eric Gleason,
Here,
Bob McNary,
Here.
Doug Leash,
Here.
Forrest Ercole,
Here.
Tim McLaughlin,
I'm here.
and Donna Lawrence.
Here.
Thank you.
okay, I guess we'll go to the Pledge of Allegiance.
So Eric, due to the situation we're in right now, we do not have access to a flag. So if we can just go ahead and remove that from the agenda at this time, and we'll resume that.
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I guess we'll move on to the next item of the agenda then, which is the election of officers.
Okay. So at this time is where we would be taking nominations for both chair and vice chair. We'll go ahead and start with chair. Is there anybody that would like to make a nomination for a chair, a new chair?
I nominate Bob McNary for chair.
I'll second that.
Excuse me, who seconded? Thank you.
Eric Gleason.
Just want to take a vote on that?
Sure. I'll move that we close the nominations and vote for chair.
So are you, okay.
Aye.
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 Can you pick your hands up for me? All in favor?
Eric Gleason, aye.
And Doug, are you in favor?
So yeah.
I'm going to abstain from voting. This is Bob.
Okay. Doug, how do you vote?
You should
How
just say
do I
aye.
vote? I cannot abstain.
You can, yes.
I'll vote no.
You can abstain.
This is really bad.
Would anyone like to nominate someone for secretary or
Vice
vice chair? Sorry,
Vice
I'm
chair.
the secretary.
I would nominate Forrest for vice chair.
I'd like to nominate Sandra.
Oh, so I do need to let you know, see, and I probably should have done this before. Sandy Bissett has actually sent in a resignation letter to the mayor. So Sandy is stepping down from the Historic Landmark Commission. So she said to wish you all well, and she's sorry she's gonna have to step down.
Oh, I'm sad to hear that.
So,
Are there any additional nominations?
Yes, I nominate Forrest. And I don't know. I'm not hearing well. So did he get nominated for the vice chair?
I just nominated him for vice chair.
Good. Will you second the nomination? I will then.
Okay, Bob seconds the nomination. Are there any other nominations?
I move that the nominations be closed.
I'll second that. All in favor of closing the nominations? Aye.
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, all in favor of Forrest as vice chairman, signify by saying aye.
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 Sorry, I'm gonna need a show of hands. It's very hard when everyone talks at once.
Okay, this is Eric. I say aye.
All right.
Bob McNary says aye.
Doug, are you in favor? Thank you. And Forrest, did you vote? I missed it.
I abstain.
Okay.
Tried that, didn't work.
passes. Okay. So we got then, Eric, would you like to pass the gavel to Bob then?
Oh, sure. I will pass whatever virtual gavel we have over to Bob.
Perfect.
No. You have to complete this meeting, Eric. You can't change horses in the middle of the meeting.
Yes, you can.
Oh, you
Yeah.
can't?
Well, we can, but Bob, if it's just for your comfort level, we could probably let Eric go ahead and preside over this meeting, and then we'll have you do it from here forward. Is that okay? Would you rather Eric run the rest of this meeting first?
Are you talking to me?
Yes.
My audio is terrible, so talk kind of slow and I'll sneak up on my audio on my iPod. Tell me.
Would you like Eric to run this meeting?
I want Eric to complete this meeting. I don't think that it is proper etiquette to change presidents in the middle of a meeting.
Okay, so Eric, can you please finish this meeting for us today?
Yes.
Yes, I can, but I don't have a copy of the quasi-judicial hearing rules.
Oh, heaven.
Would you like someone else to read them?
Yes, that would be great.
Alrighty.
Okay, so let's go ahead and we still have a couple more things here. Okay, so
Yeah.
now Eric, we're on to the
Well-
approval of the agenda.
Right. So next item is the approval of the agenda. Does anybody have any additions to that agenda?
No.
Okay, all in favor of approving the agenda, vote aye.
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 Robert,
Votes aye.
Bob, yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Now we're on to item 6 of the agenda, the approval of the minutes from February 12th, 2020. Does anybody have any edits to those minutes?
I move that we approve the minutes.
Bob recommends we second the approval.
Okay, any further discussion? Okay, I guess we'll move to approve the minutes from the February 12th, 2020 meeting. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Hey, Bob,
Oh, good. Oh, yes, she's ahead again.
Thank you.
Okay. We'll now move on to item 7 from the agenda, public comments. During this portion of the meeting, anyone may speak on any subject which does not later appear on the agenda. 5 minutes per person will be allowed. Do we have any public comment?
Chair Gleason, Carolyn would like to be recognized.
Okay, Carolyn, do you have some comment to make?
I just had a brief comment.
You'll have to state your name and address, I suppose.
Yes, Carolyn Wood, 1709 Liberty Way, the Dalles. I just wanted to announce that Mary Davis and Russ McDonald were selected as Pioneer Man and Woman of the Year. And I've made it a point of trying to announce this wherever I can, just because so many people don't take the paper. And we were not able to have our annual Pioneer Luncheon this year, and we hope that we do again next year. But they were very deserving of the title, and we did get really good coverage in the last week's Chronicle. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you for bringing that up. Any other public comment?
I think that's it, Eric.
Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to item number 8 on the agenda, which is a public hearing, Historic Landmark Commission Application 177-20 from Todd Carpenter and Carla McQuaid, the request to approve to replace the facade of the Recreation Cafe with one of 2 options. Option 1, restore early 1900s era facade with brick veneer, and option 2, restore early 1900s historic facade with wood. And I understand that we're only really exploring option 2 at this point. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right. Could somebody please read the rules for the quasi-judicial hearing?
Bear with me. Now is the time specified for the Historic Landmarks Commission to conduct a public hearing. The purpose of this public hearing is to consider the following matter. HLC application 17720, Todd Carpenter and Carla McQuaid. The substantive criteria upon which the Historic Landmarks Commission will base its decision in this matter are contained in the city's comprehensive plan and land use and development ordinances. A public hearing is required by law and certain rules apply. First and foremost, you must be recognized by the chair in order to speak and present testimony. When recognized by the chair, please proceed and state your name and mailing address for the record. The hearing is required by law to be tape recorded. Generally, the public hearing procedure is as follows. Prior to the public hearing, a determination will be made of the qualifications of the commission members and allow for challenges from the audience. Chair Gleason will open the public hearing with a staff report. The purpose of this staff report at this point is to further identify the applicable criteria of the case being considered and to provide background information about the case. After the staff report, we will hear testimony from the proponents, those persons in favor of the application. Next, there will be testimony from the opponents, those not in favor of the application. Next, there will be testimony from anyone else who wishes to offer testimony or ask questions. Then, to honor the right of rebuttal, we will again hear from those in favor of the application. To expedite the hearing, the commission members may ask questions of persons as they testify. When this process has been concluded, we will close the public testimony portion of the hearing. During the hearing, some important standards apply. First of all, those who testify must hold their testimony to the decision criteria, as in all land use hearings. There are a complete set of rules, procedures, and criteria we must follow. Second, failure to raise an issue accompanied by statements or evidence sufficient to afford the commission members and the parties an opportunity to respond to that issue precludes an appeal to the Land Use Board of Appeals based on that issue. Third, the failure of an applicant to raise constitutional or other issues relating to the conditions of approval with details specific enough to allow the city to respond to the issue precludes an action for damages in the circuit court. Fourth, prior to the conclusion of the public hearing, any participant may request an opportunity to present additional evidence, arguments, or testimony regarding the application. If such a request is made, the law states the commission must grant the request by either continuing the hearing to a time and date at least 7 days from the date of the initial hearing, or the record must be kept open for a period of at least 7 days. These are the rules. Are there any questions?
Okay, hearing no questions, we'll move on to the public hearing. First, does anybody wish to challenge the qualifications of the commission? Hearing none, we'll move on to the staff report.
Wait, ex parte contact.
Oh, right. So ex parte contact.
Oh, right. Does anybody have any ex parte contact or conflicts of interest that they would like to declare?
This is Bob. This is Bob, and I have none.
No.
I have none.
This is Eric. I'm an adjacent property owner, but I don't think that it biases me.
Okay.
Okay, I guess we'll move on to the staff report then.
Okay. Thank you, former Chair Gleason.
Oh, is it hard to turn that down a little bit?
As you stated, this application is for Todd and Carla, Todd Carpenter and Carla McQuaid. And it is for the building formerly known as the Recreation Lounge Bar and Bowling Alley. I'll spare you a little bit because you can read. As you remember, back in February of 2019, the Historic Landmark Commission approved the application for facade restoration to actually go back to the 1900s facade. Soon after, the applicants were also awarded the Oregon Main Street grant in the amount of $200,000. Huge. With the approved plans, a grant from Main Street, they continued their purchase with the Columbia Gateway Urban Renewal project to start their restoration project. Unfortunately, in August, you all remember well, we had that major storm event that ended up causing some major structural damage to the building. With the buildings now stabilized, the applicants are actually looking for direction and approval from the Historic Landmark Commission for modifications to that previous approval back in February. And they ended up, between the time that they submitted applications and now, have decided to go ahead and remove a brick veneer option, which was option number 1. And the reason for that, Todd can provide you a little more detail, was in working with Main Street and SHPO that was not going to be something that would be favorable for the building. So what their plan is to alter the existing facade windows and doors to be more open to the street and sidewalk and compatible with the 1800s, late 1800s architecture and early 1900s. It will include a full facade restoration using their historic photos to look similar to the original buildings that existed in that location. I ended up recommending approval, option number 2, and included 12 conditions of approval, specifically more so dealing with in terms of to be in substantial conformance to the pictures that were provided, recommendations for the wood windows and the wood windows to be double hung, no reflective glass, some natural colors and materials retained if at all possible, and then some basically just going through the facade if there's any modifications or anything that can be restored or rather than removed, that would be preferred. So staff is recommending approval with the 12 stated conditions of approval for option number 2. Do you have any questions of staff?
I don't have any questions. Does anyone else have any questions?
No, I don't.
No, I don't think we have a lot of options to even discuss.
I have one question though, just because I'm not from the Dalles, so I don't know the full history of the building. It says here in our background that it was built in 1946, but wasn't it built before that as like a saloon or something like that?
Right. So our historic inventory sheets sometimes do lack some pertinent information in terms of the historic or the history of the building. So there is the Old Horn Saloon, which is still remnant. You can see that's the brick building that's standing. Todd could probably give a little bit of information in terms of what portions of that building are still standing. But yeah, so our inventory was lacking some of the really historic parts, but they did include, there was a massive remodel in the 40s, and that is what's reflected in this historic inventory sheets.
Thank you for that clarification.
I would just say that it's the building right now, the front is so torn up. I mean, I don't have any idea what, other than the 3 arches up on the top, it's hard to tell what might have been there. So I would tend to have to go along with whatever the staff recommendation is. And I also know that Todd has done a good job on the building next door. So I would have to just go along with the staff recommendation myself. So
we do, Eric, we do have Mr. Carpenter, the applicant, here if we want to go ahead and ask Eric or see if Todd wants to provide any information.
Sure. Yeah, we'll open up the hearing now to testimony from the proponent. State your name and address for the record.
Is that me? Todd Carpenter?
I think Todd, so, yeah.
Hi, everybody. Todd Carpenter, 216 East 5th Street. How's everybody doing?
Good.
Yeah. So basically, you know, obviously we took off the front and there was really no historical elements. I was talking to a designer and they said, well, we could match that. So the middle building has some brick on the sides of it. It looks like in 1959, we actually found the old blueprints from 59, and they they removed the entire front facade and furred it all out with new fur on the front all the way across. So the old pictures that we had said we were going to do are kind of similar to this, but there's less detail on these because we're not sure we think there's really not a lot there. So we put less detail on them, and we put the windows, we'd like to keep the windows that are framed in already sort of in those same spaces. So there's not a lot of structural changes to the front of the building because there's some load-bearing walls and things like that that we need to probably keep intact. We thought about doing the veneer to match the sides of the Horn Saloon, but as Don said, I talked to SHPO and they would not approve that with the grant. So we're backing off that. We just want to do basically a wood facade on the front, similar to what we did at Last Stop, that looks kind of, that's made out of just regular wood materials, wood doors, wood windows, like we did at Last Stop, and kind of keep it a little more general. If we do find, we haven't taken all the facade off the upper level of the Horn Saloon yet. If you walk by it, you'll see some of it's stucco. And SHPO actually was wondering if we wanted to keep that. I'd prefer to go back to the older look and not have the stucco, but I'm into whatever you guys think. But I think the wood would look really nice. The other change I think we kind of made is that we did divide. So the original building, there was the Prince and Niche on the west side. Here, I got a picture of it over here. I'll show you. This guy right here. I don't know if you can see that. This guy right here. So that was originally had two doors in it. And so that option 2 shows that we're going to do 2 doors, and right down the middle where they put that arch to take the load off the middle of the roof and span so that they could remove all the columns out of the thing and make it one unit, one bowling alley. We would like to put it back to that. So have those 2 areas separated with 2 different doors, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I was wondering if you were thinking about insetting the doors. It's a little hard to tell from the drawings, yes. But the original photographs have the doors kind of inset.
Yep, and that makes sense because they have to be, they have to open out because of fire code. So we would inset the doors enough that they could open out, not over the sidewalk. So it'd be similar. We'd keep the front facade where it is, but we would inset the doors back 3 feet or 36, 40 inches, something like that, to make sure they don't swing over the sidewalk, because that's, that's not fire code. Got to keep them off that. So all 4 doors are inset, but the windows are all street side.
Well, that seems like that'll be keeping with the historic facades that were there as well. So that's great.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, the original facade on the Prince and Niche was mostly windows and doors.
Yeah. Do you know if it used cast iron columns or anything like that along that facade, or have you been able to find any of those?
There's nothing there that we can see. It's all been furred out, so there's no historical elements there. There was nothing in the building either. I can't tell from the pictures if those are cast iron or if they're wood. They look like they're wood to me, but I'm not 100% positive.
Yeah, me neither. It's hard to tell. You'd think the ones in front of the Horn would be cast iron just because they have so much weight to bear from the upper stories, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think I have a picture down here of the Horn. Yeah, there's absolutely nothing on the front of that building that's historical on the outside, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, great. Does anybody else have questions for the proponent?
Well,
yes.
Someone is, I thought someone was already, this is Bob. Now this looks like it's going to be a little bit lower in elevation than is there now. Or am I imagining that, or?
So the roof has a false front on it. On the Horn Saloon is the same side, so it'll be up to the side. The east and west ends had a false front on the front of them. It's the same. It's basically the same roof line. It'll just have a similar false front. I can take that as high as the structural engineer will allow me to with the wind, the sheer, the strength of the wind. He's redesigning that for me right now. We'll try to get it as close to where it was.
Are you thinking about putting on any of that little detail that was on the Prince and Nitz building?
I'd like to do something, but we're trying to keep it generic right now, just because we don't know how far we're going to get, how much money the doors and windows are going to cost and things like that. But yeah, we would like to do that eventually, is kind of restore it to how it looked. I don't want to say that to SHPO either, because they're kind of particular about that stuff. They don't want us rebuilding the past, I guess.
Yeah.
They've made some comments to me about that, so I'm kind of trying to keep it as generic as I can and to satisfy their grant stuff, so we don't lose that.
Yeah. Great. So does anybody have any other questions of the proponent?
Not I, Bob, Eric.
Okay.
Bob, not I.
All right. Hearing none. Is there any other testimony from proponents?
Carla's not here.
Okay. Hearing none of. Oh, pardon me.
I said Carla's not here.
Oh, okay. Hearing none, I guess we'll shift to testimony from opponents. Okay, hearing then, I guess we'll close the public testimony portion of the hearing unless anybody has any other further questions. Okay, I'd strike my gavel now if I had one. We'll close the public testimony portion of the hearing and go into deliberations. Does anybody have any comments?
I think the only comment I have is, Bob, is that gold. We've looked at what we've looked at for so long that we're going to start to think that's historic if we don't get something action on it.
Yeah, and this is Eric. It's such a big project, and I'd like to commend Todd and Carla for taking it on. And I understand the reasons for kind of leaving the plan a little bit generic for now. There's a lot of pieces that have to kind of come together to get it functional again. So I understand it, and I trust that they'll do the right thing, and that if there's any questions, they'll go to staff. So I'm perfectly happy with approving the plan.
I am asking a question now of staff. Do we have elements of things that we have to add if we make a motion to approve this request? Or do we even get the privilege at this time of making approval Are we too late here or too early, or where are we in the cycle? Seems we've had option one thrown away.
So yes, we're having the public hearing, and today, if you choose to approve the staff's recommendation, you can approve the application, or you could deny the application, and then we would just follow standard protocol that we, if you do approve it, we'll get the resolution signed. So we may end up having to have you come down to City Hall, or we might have to drop by and get your signature, Bob, but then at that time after it's been signed, then Todd and Carla could proceed with their project. We are closed at City Hall right now, but we do still continue to process applications and permits.
I move to approve the Historic Landmarks Commission application 177-20.
I would second that motion.
Just for clarification, with the 12 conditions of approval as stated?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, any further discussion? Hearing none, I guess we'll vote. All in favor of approving Historic Landmarks application number 177-20, say aye.
Aye.
Bob, aye.
Eric, aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
I have to drop off,
now
you
the
guys.
next-
Thanks, Todd.
Okay, thank you,
Thanks,
guys.
Todd. Okay, we're now on to resolution number HLC 166-20 for approval of HLC 177-20 from Todd Carpenter and Carla McQuaid. I don't know why I have such trouble with her name. Anyone want to make a motion for that?
This is Bob, and I make a motion that we pass resolution 166-20 with the conditions of that I'm still trying to pinpoint, but I'm sure there are conditions here somewhere.
I would second.
Okay, do we have a second? Okay.
I second the motion.
Oh, okay. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Bob, aye.
Eric, aye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, then the next meeting on the agenda, or next item on the agenda is staff and commissioner comments.
Okay, so I want to go ahead and thank you all for taking or giving this a try. I think you guys did amazing today. Bob, I'm very impressed. Did he hear me? I'm not sure he heard me. I wanted to also let you know that City Hall still is closed. We're in the phase 1. We do, as I stated earlier, come into work. We have specified days, times, just to kind of limit the contact with others. And we're working on our options to open back up further so that we can allow customers to come in. But right now, we're pretty limited in terms of having any contact with outside sources. But that's going to be hopefully continuing to get better and easier. Again, we still are processing land use applications, Historic Landmark Commission applications, as well as all permits. And we're actually facilitating quite well, so I've been pretty impressed. In terms of Historic Landmarks Commission, it's my understanding that we will continue through with these types of meetings, the Zoom meetings, at least through the month of June at this time. And so we can anticipate that our next regularly scheduled meeting will also be a Zoom meeting. So by then, Bob, you will be great. We do actually have 2 public hearings that I am anticipating. One will be the Dawn's Cleaners. Scott Austin will be coming back for that back portion of his building. So we've got a new application from him. And the other will be Sunshine Mill is looking at doing some modifications to their warehouse building and the silos. So I'm hoping that we'll have both of those applications for the next meeting. And obviously you'll get a packet. So that's really all I have right now. Do any of you have any questions of staff? Or comments?
Oh, I had a question. The old Washington Street store, the blue, what's commonly called the blue building, got a coat of paint. Is that something that you administratively approved?
Unfortunately, that I did not. I did see a post on Facebook, and I have an email off to the new owner explaining that color does need to be approved by the planning department. It's something that you have given me authority to do so. I was also noticing it looked like an awning that had been, I'm not sure if it was the older one was repainted. Anyway, we're anticipating that they'll be coming in for some additional facade work. So hopefully I'll hear back from Mr. Zilka soon, and we'll see what's going on.
Yeah, he also, it came to my attention that he also has changed out a couple of windows as well, so.
Okay. So, and the concern that we have with that also is there are urban renewal, as you're aware, it was an urban renewal building. So I will let Director Harris be aware of that also. And before I head home tonight, I'll probably drive by and take some photos so we can have some documentation. But thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard.
I mean, I think he's...
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I mean, I think his heart's probably in the right place, but it's just doesn't know the procedure, I guess. So.
Well, I mean, and I have been very, there's been some very detailed emails that I myself have sent regarding our processes. So I'm not sure what the misunderstanding is. So hopefully we'll get an answer.
Yeah.
Don, just out of curiosity, when at our last meeting, we tabled the discussion about the dry cleaners or the cleaners, and I thought that would be on the agenda today. Did he have to totally reapply then?
So Mr. Austin had submitted had submitted some additional drawings, and in working on those drawings, he found that his application had exceeded what he had originally requested. So Josh Chandler and I discussed it and decided that the smart thing or the best thing to do would be for him to withdraw his first application and then make a new application, so that you guys aren't working on two meetings, especially now with the longevity between the two. So he's actually withdrawn his first application and now has revised it substantially. I did actually review his packet today, and I think there's a lot of photos as well as renderings, which I know you guys like to actually see that. So, so hopefully this application will be much more thorough and complete for you to make a decision.
Okay, I was just curious.
Yep.
Well, Doug, I'm with you, because at one time there was a movement out that we were anti-development, this group. And I thought that if we had held that up at any length of time, that's what we would be labeled again.
The good thing about Mr. Austin, and I think you all would agree, is he really wants to do the right thing and wants it to be a building that's not only pleasing to the eye, but it's also functional. So I think this new rendition will be something that you guys will be a little bit more favorable of, because there were some, I think he is looking for the wood siding, but we can talk about that when we open the public hearing. Hopefully June is the plan.
Great. So does anybody else have any more comments or concerns?
If I could say that I am grateful for the honor of serving as president of this group, I will say it now, and then you people can say actually what you think later.
Yeah. I'm glad you're taking it on, Bob.
I'm not sure it was a kick.
Not that you weren't doing it all before anyway. Okay, it looks like our next meeting date is scheduled for June 24th, 2020. Anybody else have any more comments or anything?
Let's hope that we have a change in our state regulations and we don't have to have this kind of a meeting. It is a small group, and unless we had a large crowd, we would fit under 10 very easily.
Yeah, and we could probably spread out pretty well as well.
Yeah. Dawn, is it okay? I'm not on video. Can I go ahead?
No, sorry, yes.
Sorry. So the way that the executive order governing these meetings is written, we will be required to have these meetings so long as the Stay Home, Save Lives order is in effect. So I wish I had better news for you than that. But unfortunately, additionally, the Keep Oregon working order about meetings also says that local government shall hold public meetings remotely. So it's unfortunately not optional, but I will certainly continue to keep everyone updated as we move through this and there are changes.
Thank you, Diana.
Thank you.
Well, with practice, we must become better, but it still is not too appealing to look forward to.
Yeah.
Agreed.
All right. Well, I guess
we adjourn, Eric.
Okay. Do we have a second?
I second the motion.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Bob is aye.
Yeah.
Nice seeing you guys. Thanks for coming.
Yep. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Yes. It goes adjourned.
So the motion to adjourn.
Yeah, they're done.
It was down Forest.